Oh, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast, hosted by Mark Gray, slanging deals every day. What's up, Mark?
What's going on, Pete? Down
Nothing,
here in
man.
beautiful Orlando, Florida. Loving it.
Orlando, Florida, man. What do you guys? What's up, Biggie?
What's
Also,
up?
Justin Bigelow, the three-time champ, Biggie.
What's up?
Nothing, man. What's
Doing
going
the
on in
same
Florida?
thing.
What brings you to sunny Florida today?
Well, we actually came here Friday, and we came here a couple days early. We were down at the Bigger Pockets convention in Orlando. It was Monday and Tuesday this week, so we just now finished up, and we learned a lot.
So yeah, okay. Wait, let me back up. I missed the whole intro. This is the Dream Huge podcast. We don't always talk real estate, but sometimes we do. We are talking to movers, shakers, influencers, people all around the world who are dreaming huge. And today, Mark Gray and Justin Bigelow are dreaming huge there in Orlando, Florida, with the Bigger Pockets Conference, BPCon 2023. For those of you who aren't familiar with Bigger Pockets, it is the go-to podcast. This is how I know Bigger Pockets, and I know they're much more than this, and you guys can elaborate. But for me, it is the go-to podcast for real estate investors, both large and small, beginner and expert, all around the world. If you're not listening to the Bigger Pockets podcast, you are not a real estate investor. Okay, point blank, period. So tell us a little bit about what Bigger Pockets is, what they do, and then please share your experience so far in Florida.
So, Bigger Pockets is where I've learned 90% of what I do with real estate. They've been a mentor to me in a way, just listening to podcasts every week and learning. And that's the big thing about Bigger Pockets. It's a huge resource of anything and everything you could possibly think of when it comes to real estate.
That's it. Would you agree, Biggie?
Yeah, it's I mean, there's so many people down here, and there's like almost 3,000 people. When it's like this is my first one, and I had to come, because I'm trying to branch out and grow as an agent, just a real estate guy, and you learn everything here. Meet lots of people, and Bigger Pockets is the go-to for investors. And down here at the convention, it's this, I call it Investor NerdCon, because that's really what it was.
Just
A bunch
nerd
of
out
real
about
estate
real estate
nerds.
investing. Yeah, and that's my favorite thing. Going back to the podcast, they will bring on guests, and it's similar to ours in a way. But these guests, every different guest has a different way that they invest in real estate. Whether it's flipping, whether it's small multifamily, large multifamily, Airbnb, short-term rentals, um, seller finance, sub two. There's no one, commercial guys come on, and it's cool just to get all the different perspectives. So I know you guys have been into all the different classes. You've had a packed schedule all week. So, from what I understand, you're going to break down and kind of take us through the highlights you brought out of each workshop.
You guys start.
Yeah, so day one was the head keynote was David Osborne, and he put on a good speech, and it was very about spiritual speech, and trying to, I think, kind of like figure out where you want to go. And the beginning there was cool. David Osborne's a spiritual guy, and it's all about getting a tribe. He's the one that is founder of a tribe of millionaires, and he wrote a few books. It started off right there, but next class, me and Mark did a class with David Green, who's the host of the Bigger Pockets podcast, and
Nice.
he's a tall, bald guy with a beard, and he's a very serious guy. But this guy is full of information, and that was a good one there.
So, what was David talking about?
So, building a financial fortress was his class. And the big takeaways that I had with Sorry, I got my notes here. I want to go through
No, it's fine. Please.
them. His whole thing was looking at a bigger picture. If you buy a property today, are you going to look like a fool in 20 years, even if you buy it a little bit over, if it makes sense now?
Right.
So his big thing was he was promoting his book, which I'm going to read, but The Pillars of Wealth. And he was talking about creating a very solid foundation before you move on to the more riskier things.
Right. Yeah.
Excellent.
He was promoting the book Pillars of Wealth. But yeah, it's definitely there's a few things in there of setting yourself up for success, build a strong foundation before you ever go and try and do something else. Because there's going to be times where the storm's going to come and you don't want to blow over. When you think you have it good, you want to make sure that sucker's solid before you even go and try something else.
Gotcha. And going back to, okay, maybe you think you're screwing up buying a property now, you overpaid for a little bit
Yeah.
now, but what does that decision look like 20 years from now?
Exactly.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, and they had this acronym stuck with me from the Bigger Pockets podcast. BEEF, the BEEF acronym. Break even, appreciation focused. Okay, they're spelling beef a little bit differently than how we normally spell it. BEAF. Break even, appreciation focused. So that's what I don't know if it was David or one of the guests or both were talking about. That is one of their main strategies, especially in these larger cities where cash flow is so tough to get. But again, that only happens if you have a strong foundation in place. Newer investors need more cash flow than that. We don't want to just break even. But
Right.
but mid-level investors or experienced investors, they can break even with appreciation focus. And it sounds to me like that is what he's talking about. And the Pillars of Wealth, is that the name of the book?
Pillars of Wealth, yeah.
It just came out yesterday, actually.
Excellent. Yeah, and that's
Got the cover sleeve signed.
nice.
Yep, and I got a picture with him. I put it on Instagram.
Did you got a free T-shirt?
Yeah.
Nice.
You get the swag bag going in.
Yep, the back of the shirt. Kind of see it.
Oh yeah, nice. VP Con.
So another thing that David Green was talking about was working harder than anybody else. Anything that comes easy isn't going to last. Like the Bitcoin millionaires, people that were just throwing money willy nilly and just kind of found it.
Yeah.
They became millionaires overnight and they lost it overnight
because they didn't know how to keep it. And that was the point. He's like, all these 22-year-old Bitcoin masters run around in Ferraris and these cool cars, and look at me, look at me. Next thing you know, you look like an idiot because you didn't know how to keep it. And that's why he was talking about, like, if you buy something now and you look like a genius later. If you know how to keep it now, as a fool now, people think you're a fool. Later, you won't be. You'd be a genius.
He wasn't saying not to buy Bitcoin or anything like that. He was just saying you need to be smart with it.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta know how to keep it, because these people were idiots and it tanked. They lost it.
Yeah. Not only keep your money, but leverage and grow your money. And what is the best way to leverage cash?
It's through real estate.
Real estate investing. Absolutely. Yep.
It's the best one. There's a couple other things that I wrote down. It was 3 strategies, and it was build big wealth, retire early, and retire better. And I forget what the strategies were for, but it was the whole class was about building a financial fortress. So just being able to maintain, get it real big, and retire early, retire better.
Is David enjoying being the main host?
I think so.
Is he? I mean, did he allude to, hey, I got some new guy coming on and taking my place?
No.
Or was Rob Abasolo there?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Was he? Good.
He was everywhere.
The only investor celebrity that we didn't see was Brandon Turner. That's because he said he wasn't able to make it. But
Brandon
yeah, we've seen some people,
Was
all the
Tarek
people that were the voices.
Was Tarek El Muso there?
Yeah, he was there.
He was the big
Hey.
celebrity from HGTV
Yep.
that showed up.
Yep.
He was doing live cold calls.
Was he really?
Yeah.
What
Yeah. I was
was
in that class.
he cold calling? Trying to get off market deals or what?
Yeah, so let's fast forward. That was day 2. That was my afternoon class, because we did 3 classes on Monday and then 2 on Tuesday, and that was the afternoon class after lunch. And the whole class was doing using cold calling and art of persuasion and just getting better at that. And it was a simple class. He got up there and pulled up Zillow, and they found some houses around Orlando and Tampa, and they were just cold calling these agents. They were calling agents, the listing agents, and just talking to them and saying, "Hey, my name's." He said his name the first 2 times. The first guys they didn't answer, went to voicemail. Little did they know they missed out on talking to Tarek Al Musa.
What'd you learn from that?
I learned from that was maybe I need to turn off my setting on my phone so unknown callers ring, even though I get all this spam. But the first couple people didn't answer, and then the second guy answered, and they talked and kind of got the feeling on where the seller's situation was, and said, would you be willing to represent me as a buyer if I made an offer? I want to buy your property. Just straight to the point. And he's an investor. He's not an agent trying to buy stuff. So getting with that agent and telling him, hey, I'd like to have you represent me when I buy this property. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, let's do it. And they kind of just get to feel on where the situation is and, how would the seller feel about a cash offer and just kind of feeling them out. And it was pretty funny because that guy didn't realize it until the end. And Tarek finally gave it away. And he said, that guy on TV, HGTV, and he kind of read into it. And the guy kind of fell it. And then he said, like, wait, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's me. That's me. You're talking to that guy on the phone. And he's like, oh, wow. And yeah, it was cool. So I don't think anything happened with that deal, but that's what he was doing. He was on the phone doing live cold calls, trying to scrape up a deal. He did one where the lady actually knew who she was. And he said, hey, this is Tarek Al Musa. And she just paused and she's like, are you serious? And the room erupted with laughter.
So is he looking at days on market or anything like that?
Yeah, so that's what he did. Before the class started, they pulled some listings up on Zillow and they were looking for days on market. There was like around 100 days or so, like 3 months on market. Long days on market. Like this thing is just not selling, because that's relative to every market. But they looked them up, and that's who they were calling to see if they could, work out a deal, buy it for like 100 less or so.
On market listed deals is what he's
Yes, that's what
targeting.
he was
So
calling.
guys, yeah, we preach that. There's deals right in the MLS.
Yes. He taught, fast forward in my notes, the couple of things I took from that was you want to call people that own the property and you want to call people that sell the property. He's like, it's all you got to do. He's like, it's the only metric he keeps is talking to people. And the only people you got to call are people that sell it and people that own it. So owners and the agents. And he said one of the things, if you want to get your success rolling, is to pick a Monday. You're going to work the hardest you have in your entire freaking life for 90 days. He calls it a 90-day sprint. And this is how he started. He says you get it up to about 50 conversations in a day, every day. It's like you might not start that high, but maybe 20 to 30 every day. Actual conversations with people. And if you want to hit your metric, the easy way to do it is just call all the agents.
Wow.
Because they're going to be more willing to talk to you.
50 in a day. I preached 4 in one day, and he's saying 50 in a day. I love
50
it.
conversations is what he was saying, but he's like, you might not be able to do that. Might not be realistic for you now, but like 20 to 30. Go for 20 to 30. That's it. He said conversations will change your life. It's it. It's like he's like, I got up here. We started. It was 45 minutes. We made 4 calls, and look at this. I might have hashed out a deal because there was one he negotiated on a duplex, and it seemed like they're actually pretty close. And he literally just was doing it for fun. Yeah. Live there in the room.
You got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there and make the calls and make the deals and have the conversations. He wasn't, so I'm clear, Tarek was not at home sitting on the couch
No,
No.
he was literally there. Like
And
I have
waiting for his phone to ring.
no,
No.
no. He called
Gotcha.
unsuspecting victims.
So one thing I did like about Tarek, he was telling his story of how he got started, and he went to this big conference, and the one guy said that he had a TV show or something like that. And
It
Tarek's
was
like,
Mike Ferry.
yeah, he's like, never thought about a TV show. So when he left, he called a TV producer in Hollywood, said, hey, I want to have a show. At that time, he was living in an apartment, didn't have anything, nothing. He was on couches that was on debt. Everything was on debt. He had no money, and he's like, I want to do a TV show. I'm like, okay, cool. What's it going to be? Flipping houses. Okay, they pretty much signed him.
No way.
And he didn't have any money. He didn't have any leads. He didn't have nothing. So right then, he just picked up the phone and just started busting it out.
Boom.
Was he an agent or a flipper at the time, or
He was an
what
agent. He started off as an agent.
No kidding. Love that
So
story.
he made $1 million, lost it, was back in an apartment, and then boom, that started.
Jeez.
He was living in his mom's garage when that all started.
Good for him, man. I love hearing
that was-
success stories like that.
That's part of that 90-day sprint, he said. He's like, just block out 90 days, pick a Monday, and just take off. And just have so many conversations that there things will happen that you just can't even believe. One other thing, one of the biggest things that he said, which it was a little quote, and had to write it down, was he's like, because he was doing the calls, but then he would kind of talk to us off the phone and just kind of give us little notes. He's like, there's learning, and then there's breakthroughs. The breakthroughs come through like when you go to an event or something like this and you learn this kind of a moment of epiphany. And like those are the little things. It's like, it all makes sense. And now boom, you're on to the next thing. You're breaking through to like the next level. And that's what happened to him at that conference.
Gotcha.
All right, let's move on to the next class.
Well, we did one with Jay Scott.
Did you go to that one, the shiny object?
Yeah, we did that one together.
Okay, so this harnessing the shiny object syndrome by Jay Scott. So going in there, I was instantly thinking that turn away from the shiny object syndrome, like you want to focus on your one thing and that's it. But that's not what he was saying. He's saying you need to have one shiny object.
Yes.
So I guess it was Apple or Google. It was one of the companies, big
Microsoft.
companies, Microsoft. They have a 20% rule, meaning 20% of your day you can focus on.
Oh, no, that was Google. Yeah, that's Google, what you're talking about.
You got 20% of your day you can focus on anything you want, a hobby, anything. And that kind of diverts your attention. So when you go back to working on your your actual work, you're more focused. So you need to have a shiny object, basically, and spend 20% on it. But you have to have your core business. In my case,
stop. Hang on. Let me jump in there.
okay.
20% of your day. I'm not good at math.
I would say working day, I guess.
Okay, so 8 hours. So it's 2 hours.
Yeah, like the workers at Google were given, it was 20% of your time was what was up on the slide. It was 20% of your time. So there was a certain day of the workers had to, go and tackle something that you're kind of passionate about.
Okay,
a little
gotcha.
side thing.
2 hours out of the working day. All right.
Yep.
So you need to have. He had a couple rules to it, but you got to have your core business for one. Your core business would be, in Justin's case, would be real estate. What pays the bills, keeps food on the table, all that. And that needs to be sustainable. Once you get over the hump of having your core business like done and
stable, settled, solid,
structured, yeah, you can pick a shiny object, and that could be anything.
Yep. He said no more than 25 of your time on a shiny object. He says the exception is if you have someone else to run the business full time, that you can spend more time on your shiny object. One of the cool things we learned when I mentioned Microsoft was some people know this about Bill Gates, but he will take what he calls think weeks. Some people have heard of this, and he will run to his cabin somewhere in the Northeast and spend a week and just kind of just disconnect from everything. No cell phones, nothing. Just in a cabin on the lake, in the nature, and just kind of just gets deep. And what he's doing is he's focusing on the shiny object, trying to see. They're so focused on the main core that he needs to take a week, see what everyone's saying at the company, and see if there's a shiny object in there. And he said that's how Xbox was born.
Wow.
I didn't know that because I knew the thing about Bill Gates. I knew the Think Week thing. I did not know that Xbox was born out of a Think Week. And that's become so popular that there's other companies that do it. And that's what Google was doing. Google was having think time, essentially, so that you could spend a little bit of time on this other thing because you focus on your core and you're going to hit your limit. It's going to get so solid it just kind of can't grow no more. And so then now once you have it sustained to where other people can do it, that allows you to grow another business and another business and another business. And he says when you focus on your shiny object, you need to get to know as fast as possible. Like you want to basically try to break your ideas and then kind of pull back from that because you want to keep trying to get new breakthroughs. And that's what all companies do. They're always trying and experimenting with all new types of ideas to try to get a leg up and see if there's actually a real business out there in this one little idea.
Your shiny object should be your risk business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your core business keeps you stable. And then your shiny object is where you can go above your boundaries or what you're comfortable with and take a risk on something.
Yep.
Love it. So in other words, most folks probably start with the shiny object or focus too much time on the shiny object. Get your core business running first.
Right.
And don't forget about the shiny object. Let it come and dedicate time to it.
Right.
But only after the foundation is set.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's why Mark was thinking, and we seen the class, oh, Mark needs to go to this class. And I think I made Mark switch into it or something. And because we thought it was shiny object, some people were they see the thing and they're like, oh, I want that. But then it dissipates and they find another one and they never actually commit to anything. And that's why you need to focus on the core thing, because then you can then focus and kind of run through that sporadic activity with shiny objects. You don't want to do that with your core business. You'll literally you'll end up flat.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your main thing your main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the main thing, but know that there's a shiny object that you can work on. But you can't do that unless, you're solid on the main thing.
All right. Day number 2 is keynote speakers with Dave Myers. His whole thing, he's super smart, way smarter than us. But his whole thing was creating a thesis of the market, trying to figure out where the market was going. Everybody showed up there thinking that he was going to tell us that next year is going to go through the roof. We're going to have a good year. The economy is going to be booming, everything like that. Or they were going in there thinking everything's going to shut down and we're going to go through another crisis with COVID or whatever it might be. Everybody was looking for that handout to know what the future is going to do. And he basically came up there and said, I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows. But we can create a thesis of what we think is going to happen and design a plan off that thesis and go from there.
Oh, room service.
Oh, room service needs in.
Gotcha. So, I mean, it's it's okay to predict the future, but use data to back that up. And that's all it is. It's a prediction. No one knows for sure, but make your thesis from the data, educate yourself on the market, and that will be your thesis. And your thesis, it directs you as far as how do you talk to your buyers and sellers, how do you plan your own investing strategy, right? Are you pulling back, are you pushing for more? So yeah, your thesis most affects you, more than anything.
What he was saying was you need to create a thesis and then create a plan off each different signs of the thesis. Meaning you
Yep.
need to have a good, if it turns out to be a good economy or a bad economy or a normal economy, you need to have a plan for each one.
Nice. I
And then
gotcha.
if your thesis is telling you it's going to be more of a normal economy, you got to have a game plan of what your investment is going to look like for normal. And then if the market starts to swing up, you can switch your plan to the more aggressive one if it's a good economy or a bad economy. Whichever way the market's swinging, you can adjust your thesis, like your plan,
Yeah.
according with your thesis.
Yeah, one of the quotes he said, to tell everybody is, and this goes for all of life, you need to have a flexible, adaptive mindset. That's exactly what Marcus is saying. You need to be able to roll with the punches and know when to bob and to weave and just have a flexible, adaptive mindset. And that's the way you'll survive. Don't get too hard, rigid on one thing because when times change and you're stuck, you're just going to fall. So you need to just pay attention to what's going on so you can adjust.
And there's no such thing as even if the market's crashing, there's still deals to be found.
Right.
You just have to adjust the way you run your numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, like today, interest rates. I had a guy message me last night, and I put out a post, feeling inspired from yesterday, and looking for some houses and see if I can draw up some leads. And he thought, what do you, why are you trying to buy now? Like interest rates are high. I'm like, interest rates are irrelevant. The rates are irrelevant. We work the deal around the interest rate. Instead of trying to avoid it, you embrace it. And that was actually one of the words I think they said was embrace it. It's weird here and weird there. Just go forward and embrace what's happening here and make a deal out of what you have today. And you adjust. And interest rates high, no problem. Offer less. Or we do a different type of creative finance to work that, like sub two. We just take over the interest rate and maybe pay them some money to get out of the deal so we can take over and help them out. So there's always deals to be made. You just have to know how to adjust.
Yeah, when it comes to investment properties, the interest rate, it's literally just a number in the equation.
Literally, that's all it is.
It's just one of the numbers in the equation. It's no different than taxes, insurance, uh, expenses, utilities, interest rate.
Right.
So it still has to work. Yeah, but it's just a number in the equation.
Well, so Dave Myers, very smart guy, and everyone that follows him knows, like, they want to know, like, he's kind of like the forecaster. Hey, Dave, what's going to happen? He got up there and says, you hear me talk about all these things, and I'm never even told you which way it's going to go, or like what his ideas was. It was just kind of like scenario planning. But everyone did come to consensus of like what is the main concern, and everyone kind of agreed. Like everyone was uncertain about affordability, and that's where it is. It's the affordability. That's will be like the future of things. Because right now affordability is very low. Interest rates are high, prices aren't going anywhere. Affordability is very, very hard right now, and
Hmm.
that is going to be part of the solution. If you're focusing on affordability, that will allow the market to kind of come back to balance. Because right now it's all out of whack.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I like about Richland County, tying it back home, is we don't have those huge peaks and valleys. I mean, some of these big cities, you're still seeing some pricing corrections.
Yeah.
And we are seeing some pricing corrections too, but nowhere near the percentage that some of these bigger cities are seeing.
Yep.
We're not going to have the big peaks and the valleys that
We
they have.
we have talked to a lot of people this weekend, like a lot.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these people were coming from the high end markets. Seattle, Washington,
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. And a lot of them have seen a lot of big dips in their market, as in price decrease.
Yeah.
But those are only the high markets. All the markets like us, you still see them going up. Richland County.
Yeah, we're up 10% year over year.
Yeah.
We're up 10%.
Right. Like there was an example where like it seems like all we pretty much met were hard money lenders.
Yeah.
I mean, which makes sense because it's a conference about professional buyers, so of course the lenders are going to be there. But there was one lady from Texas, from Austin, and she gave an example of this listing. Like in the past, just a recent past, there was a house that was going to sell for $1 million, and now it's dropped down to 500,000. So 50% price cut because Austin kind of has basically reached its peak, and then rates are going up, and so it's just kind of like stopped, and now it's coming down. But that's because it's in a above average price point in terms of the national economy. And if you look at us down here in Mansfield, which we told everybody, hey, we're in Mansfield, halfway between Cleveland and Columbus, try to get them to invest because it's a great opportunity there. And we met a couple people who were familiar with like Columbus and Mansfield, and we got their numbers.
Sweet.
Yeah. Just one last thing that Dave Meyer said was inflation and unemployment will dictate rates, which dictates affordability. So it's just something to keep in mind, because and that was what he was saying is like watch the Fed, and the Fed's job is to stabilize the economy with jobs, and then control inflation and the interest rates, and it's like a never-ending battle.
Yeah. Hey, are you gonna share all those numbers of those hard money lenders? I mean, that would be some good stuff. You should.
Yeah, I got a whole pocket full of business cards.
That would be, and you could share the numbers, or you could just share, hey, contact me if you need hard money lenders. We've got a pocket full of business cards. If you're looking for money on real estate investing, we get asked that all the time. And have good, legitimate hard money lenders in your pocket, man, that could be huge.
Yeah. You got anything more on Dave Meyer?
Not on Dave Myers, but I wanted to move on to my last class I want to talk about, but it was with Brian Murray, one of the OGs on multifamily investing. Wrote the book on Crushing It, and he's Brand Turner's partner in Open Door Capital. He's super smart too. Started as a teacher, and now he's got over 10,000 doors.
Amazing.
Oh yeah. But so he gave out 10 secrets.
Real quick.
Yeah.
10,000 doors. Wait, 10,000 times what? 1,000 per door, probably.
Yeah, just do that.
That's 10 million a month in rents coming in. 10 million a month in rents times 12
Crazy.
months. That's 120 million.
Yeah, a lot of those were syndications, but yeah, he got to I think 700 or 800 doors before he raised any money.
I mean, he's moving money like the Hoover Dam. It's coming in and flushing out.
Yeah,
so much movement of liquid.
So here are the 10 secrets to the multifamily investing. Number 1, make sure everybody wins. The buyer, the seller, the person that's losing their house, everybody. Make sure everybody wins because it's going to come back in tenfold.
Yes.
Number 2, have a purpose. Have a higher why on why you're doing this. Secret number 3, master the game of debt. So you get good debt. It could be seller financing, anything you can negotiate to make your debt better, and mastering how it works for you. You can get a bad deal that works for you with a better debt. Secret number 4, going beyond the numbers. He bought this deal that when you looked at the numbers, it was a bad deal. By far, you're falling off a cliff if you bought this thing. You're going under. But he looked into it, looked past the numbers, and found out all of his all the management staff was stealing appliances. Whenever they hire contractors, they would have the contractors buy the materials, and they would also buy the materials and then go sell them. So it was double dipping. But they were only paying the contractor the one time and then buying the materials. So every which way you looked at this deal that he bought, the numbers did not work out. But that's because everybody on the backside wasn't running it properly. So when he bought it, it was a killer deal. And he made probably millions off that. Secret number 5 is getting out.
Talk about, so going back to that one real quick.
Yeah.
We talk about average expenses, when looking at a property, 50% is a good number. So yeah, we can help you guys crunch those numbers. And going back to Bigger Pockets, we actually use the Bigger Pockets calculators.
Yes.
We are pro members on the Bigger Pockets website, and we can plug those numbers of those investment properties in. Just like you said, Mark, if there's a red flag somewhere where like this isn't quite making sense, and then we can dig further in there, man, that he found out there was all kinds of theft going on, and it ended up being a lot better deal than it appeared on the surface.
Yeah, he was saying it was on the market for like 200 days or something, and nobody caught it. Wow. Nobody looked past the numbers. They just analyzed it and said it doesn't work.
Wow.
So go beyond the numbers.
And you should post these 10 rules as well. Boom.
Yeah, this is some real content here.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about this. I wasn't in this class.
Secret number 5 is getting outside your comfort zone. He was always a little to himself, so he never really went outside his comfort zone. But he was always behind doors and always doing his own thing. And what really turned the switch in his head is when he went to this mastermind group in Nevada. He went to this mastermind group with all these huge investors that had tens of thousands of dollars more than him, and he's never raised capital at that point. So he was the outcast. Everybody there was raising money. He was the only one not raising money. They're asking him, how did he do that? He's asking them, how did they do that? So they both learned. So joining that mastermind for him was getting him outside that comfort zone and made him expand to the next level.
Yes. And that's why, like, I'm here. Mark invited me, and I'm like, man, I don't really like vacationing too much, but I'm slowly starting to be comfortable getting outside the comfort zone. So, like, here being away from the family for a week, I haven't done this in 7 years. So it's kind of crazy. But I'm outside the comfort zone, and now I realize doing this whole experience, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's not so uncomfortable anymore.
Secret number 6, harnessing the power of partnerships. So just
right here,
expanding. Partnerships expand everything.
Yeah.
He would not be at 10,000 doors if it wasn't for his partners.
Real estate investing is a team sport, folks. No doubt.
Number 7, patience and persistence are superpowers. Meaning you got to sit back and let it happen. You can't just buy a whole bunch of properties overnight because you'll lose them all without the right foundation. You got to wait. You got to learn to actually run a business, run your multifamily business, and over time it'll grow. You got to be patient. You got to be persistent at it. Secret number 8, embracing the journey. Don't just, if you live your life hating every day you do it, it's going to be miserable. You might still be able to make it, but in the end, what's it worth? Secret number 9 was maintaining balance, which would be hard. Just maintaining balance in all of your lives, in all different areas in your life. He didn't really go into too much detail with that, but there is a, what do you call it?
Well, I mean, talk about balance. I took a class on, it was like investing with a spouse, and it was kind of like it was kind of funny. Um, the whole experiment that we did a couple relationship, like kind of like trust fall type stuff. But the whole thing was about creating balance in business with a spouse. And so you can't push too much on your partners, because then if you push too much, the person will fall and you'll fall with them. And so you want to maintain balance in all areas of your life, not just with your spouse. And so I think a lot of that is, the business. When we caught into this, we work like crazy. Well, if you could pull your spouse into this, it'd be even greater, because then you'll be able to understand each other, I think, a little bit more. Even if your spouse is not in it, you got to have the right spouse that understands like what you're doing and can understand, and that will allow you to maintain balance with each other. That's more on the personal relationship side of things, but you got to have your health's got to be intact. I mean, you can't be super healthy and not work, or you can't work all the time and avoid your health. You got to maintain balance in all areas of your life.
Yeah. What he did was he had an exercise called the Circle of Life, and it had all areas of your life, your business, your fitness, your relationship, had all the stuff that's part of your life, and you go around it and you just draw in of where you think it is, what level you think you're at, and that'll give you a good perspective of where you need to work on and what you're doing pretty good at. So maintaining balance was a good one. Secret number 10 was giving back. You get to a point, what he was saying was, you get to a point in your career to where you get so far ahead that you look back and you're like, what did I do all this for? I need to give back to the community. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just for me. It's you see the bigger picture. You need to give back. So he, I didn't know this, but he created like a huge company. He was in the Times Magazine for having the quickest development company in New York. And he donated that entire company.
Wow.
Yeah, he put it in a trust and donated it to a certain group. I forget what he said it was, but donated that entire business.
Good for him.
I know Warren Buffett is going to do that when he dies. It's all going to be donated.
That's what it's about, guys. Legacy.
But yeah, I mean, it's all working forward to, work for your family, work for yourself, and then eventually, as you go through it, you're always giving back. And then you get to this mega point where you can literally just give it all away.
Yep.
And it's about leaving the world in a better place, making your impact on the world.
Take a wild guess of where you think BPCon 2024 is.
Mansfield.
No.
No, we're not that big.
I don't know. They like doing the sunny states. I have no idea. Vegas, Miami.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, like we went through, like, where are they going to go? Because I kind of teased it in the beginning on day 2, and someone thought Vegas, and the other person thought
I thought they were going to Denver.
Denver. I was like, what about Phoenix? Yeah, that wasn't mentioned, and that's south. Turns out that it is neither, and it's not even in the United States. They're going international to Cancun, Mexico.
No way.
They have rented out an entire resort for this thing.
Did you guys get pre-sale discounts?
You do. You can sit your email on. If you go to biggerpockets.com/conference, you can register and you'll get on the email list to get to the first tickets. So you rent out an entire resort. So everyone's going to go to the resort and stay, and that's where they'll have the conference. Whereas like this year, it was in this fancy Marriott Grand Lakes, crazy place. It's like a 6-star hotel. Crazy. But that's just where the event was. Everyone else is staying somewhere else. Some people stay there, but they're running out an entire resort in Cancun.
Biggie.
It's going to be a party.
Biggie. You got to start training and start drinking the tequila now.
Yeah.
So you're ready for when you get there.
Oh, No, that's it's gonna be Mark's buddy, Carl.
Yeah.
He's an animal.
He did all 3 days, I think, on maybe 5 hours of sleep.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
networking. He's been trying to build his group, and it's just all about networking. He's like, I'm here. I got to network with everybody I can possibly imagine.
Shout out to Carl. Where's Carl from?
Connecticut,
Nice.
Mansfield.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Our,
Mansfield, Connecticut?
Yeah.
Wow,
our brother from another Mansfield out there.
that's crazy.
That's nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we learned a lot, and I think I learned a lot yesterday. The most. Just I think it was the impact of seeing a celebrity like star power is real. You know, if you get into a room, you don't just see them on TV on a flat 2D plane. You see them in the room and you hear their voice, and you know it's kind of like reality sets in.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. You have any other questions or anything?
No, man, that's awesome stuff. Yes, it's definitely some things we want to reshare with the team as well. I love the 10 secrets of real estate investing. Definitely love that. Yeah,
We
there's
got a
lots of
whole
good stuff.
notebook full.
Yeah, we got plenty of notes, stuff I didn't even go through, like going deeper into what Dave Meyer said about this little thought experiments on where the market is, and even tailor it down to your market. So like what happens in Austin, Texas is not what happens in little Mansfield, Ohio.
Yeah.
So it's
And
just different cases.
I think too, this goes back to just being obsessed about real estate, which you guys are, and
Yeah.
that's, when you're obsessed about something, when you're all in, all encompassing, you want to learn all about it. You want to go to the conventions, meet the celebrities in that space, network with them, people in that space. The more you can learn and know, and the more you can breathe it and be it, the better. And you guys are doing an awesome job with that, man. And just being all in and being obsessed with real estate. It really helps. It will really help you understand things better. You'll be more successful because of it. Yeah, it's a great thing that you guys go to. I need to go one of these years.
We were
Maybe
talking about that.
Hey,
We were talking.
Lisa, are we going to Cancun next year? No answer, she says. No answer. What can we do to coerce Lisa to Cancun?
That should be easy. You just tell her we're going to Cancun.
Right, it's sunny there. They have beaches.
Yeah, they rent out an entire resort. So,
You're not a
and it's
big
a ticket
tequila
price.
fan.
It's a ticket price is anywhere near what it was this year. It is way worth it. I mean, I think an average price of an event like this, 2 days with everything that going on, like the very last closeout thing. Like to me, this whole thing was a freaking party.
Yeah.
It was just a whole freaking party. It was the 3 days building up to it. Then they actually do it, and then they close it out by renting out the entire Universal Islands of Adventure from 8 to midnight last night. The whole park exclusive.
Nice.
Yeah. You get to usually there's like a 3 hour line or whatever to get on the ride. It's kind of like Cedar Point. You have to walk right on to
right
it.
on the rides. For the ticket cost for a pro member was $850. And if you weren't a pro member, it was like $1,050 or so, but you got the pro membership for bigger pockets. These events like this would normally cost like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000.
Sweet. So $850, but then you got all you have to pay for on top of that is your travel and your lodging.
Yeah, but just the experience of the convention was definitely worth 5 times more.
Well, it's great. It's about going all in, being obsessed. Yeah, absolutely. And you're supporting the guys that we love.
Exactly.
It's great to support someone who has given so much to us over the years, right? It's pretty cool.
I'd say we talk it up real big. This just getting started. This was only the fourth one?
Fourth one.
This is only the 4th year.
Wow.
I mean, think of the Super Bowl. It's all in the 50th. This is just VPCon number 4. It's only going to grow from here, and that's why they're going to Cancun next year.
Sweet, that'll be fun.
We'll bring some of the magic back
right now, so I can get ready.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. We'll bring some of the magic back. So I learned some things, and I'm going to go hard for 90 days.
All right.
change your
What
life.
else? What else, Mark? Any final thoughts?
I think we summed it up pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, we could go on for hours, but
Yep.
Yeah, if you guys want to know more, reach out. I've had people, you go on vacation, you're supposed to get busy, right? That's like the whole curse or whatever. The curse and the gift. Yeah, it's happening. But,
Yep.
that's another thing is working outside your comfort zone and working away from your business when you're not there. It's like a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
so that's its own little experiment. And that's what's
Yeah.
happening.
Sure. And it creates some new efficiencies that you might be surprised of.
Yeah. Man, some
Mhm.
clients reaching out, they want to run some deals on some doubles and run some numbers. And I'm going to do it right through Bigger Pockets Calculator.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. We need to be more busy, baby. I love it. All right,
Right.
guys. Mark Gray, slinging deals every day. Justin Bigelow, Biggie, the 3-time champ, live from Orlando, Florida. BPCon, Bigger Pockets, BPCon 2023. Thank you guys for tuning in, taking the time out of your vacation and your business trip to tune in and share your experiences with folks out there. So appreciate it very much. Thank you for watching, y'all. Thank you for listening. And please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, remember the rules. Work hard, never give up, and dream huge, baby. Woo-wee. Nice job, fellas. Awesome stuff.
that's it.